This is a tough one, and it really, really is difficult, because when your ex cheats on you and you know that they've wronged you, you know that it's unforgivable. You know that you're not going to be able to go to sleep at night without thinking about it, without having a nightmare and a horror movie play out in your mind about what was going on. But yet, why you sit there and you think, why can't I hate her? Why can't I, I should be so angry. I should be so resentful. She should make me feel physically sick, but she doesn't. I can't. I hear that quite often. I hear that from betrayal from a man week in, week out. But there's also this shame around it, because when they're speaking to their family and their friends, and their family and friends hate their ex, and they're like, you are so much better off without them. You deserve so much more than what she's put you through. And the fact that she's betrayed you in some way, and she's cheated, she's had an affair, whatever it is, then you just feel this shame of, well, why don't I feel that way? Why can't I hate her in that way? And it's natural, okay? You loved this woman, or love this person. This person shared a life with you. You shared memories, you shared time, you shared potentially even children. You've built this life together. And then it's just been taken away from you like that. And you're so blindsided by it. And you can't navigate not only the loss of her, but what she's done. And then also trying to process the feelings that are coming up for you. As a man, you don't know how to deal with these emotions. Nobody does, to be honest. It's not just a male thing. But there's a lot more empathy towards women when they've been cheated on, and they can really talk about it endlessly with their friends and family. With men, if you even give them the slight chance of feeling sorry, or feeling compassion for your ex, or still wanting her or missing her, it's shut down so quickly. And you're told to, basically, because they hate them, you are meant to hate her too. But you can't just switch your feelings off. You can't just turn the love off. The anger and resentment will come when you've processed it, but it can't just be immediately. And also, you want to get past the anger and resentment stage and the hatefulness, because you actually want to get to a stage where you don't care. Okay, you've got to a place where you're at peace with it. You're accepting of it. The other part with men who've been cheated on is understanding and dealing with the feeling of somebody else has got what was yours. Okay. When a man cheats, and people are going to come at me for this, but I don't care. When a man cheats, it can literally be so emotionless. It can be because an opportunity was landed on their lap and they rolled with it and they took it. There's no maliciousness behind it. And sex can just be a transaction for men. And there doesn't need to be necessarily no emotional involvement or attachment to it. Doesn't make it right. I'm not saying it's right, but it makes it more accepting, because it's not with that intent. By nature, men are there to reproduce. And by nature, women are there to build a family. Okay. And to have that family unit. So when a woman cheats, there is emotion behind it, and there is a lot more not maliciousness because they want to hurt you, but more so because there is this intensity of, there was maybe something missing in the relationship, and that's what has led them to seek elsewhere. So there's a lot more emotional attachment to it, because by nature, we're more emotionally driven. So coming to terms with that as a man is knowing that your person, you're very much by nature protective of what's yours. Your person has then gone and found somebody else, or has cheated, or had an emotional affair, or has a physical affair with somebody else. That, for you to internalize and process, is a lot more difficult than it is for a woman. But it doesn't mean that you have to then just shut off all feelings and you're meant to just hate that person and you're meant to never want to forgive her, especially if you've got a family with that person. I find that with my clients who have got children with the mother of the person who's, you know, had this affair. It's really difficult for you to lose your family unit, but yet you feel like you made to have to because everyone else in your life is like hateful towards her, whereas there's a part of you that maybe wants to forgive her or has this hold on to this hope that the relationship could go back to what it was. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's true, and doesn't necessarily mean that you can. Trust me, I've seen clients that have tried and the relationship isn't ever the same again because you don't trust that person anymore. You're constantly walking on eggshells. You're constantly distrusting of like where they are, what they're doing, who they're with. It's really difficult to forgive. If you can, obviously, and if you decide that you want to forgive that person, you have to wipe the slate clean and have this as a fresh new relationship and figure out what was missing in order for them to search elsewhere and how you can rebuild upon that. But 90% of the time, it's really difficult for a man. But I want you to know that you're not alone in feeling like you can't hate the person, and that you can get to a place where you want to rebuild things for yourself, and you get to a place where you don't like the person anymore, or you don't have any feelings towards the person that's cheated on you. It just takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of navigating, and it takes processing the relationship in the right way, having the right tools to actually navigate this, rather than you just going at it at a whim, overthinking everything, missing her, loving her, wanting her, but then feeling sick at yourself because how could you even think that way? It's not about that. You've been betrayed. Nobody knows unless you've been through it how that feels. And you're still trying to cut the emotional cord and the love towards that person in order to move forward from this. So if this is you and you're stuck and you're like, how do I get through this? I don't know how to process this. I'm still in love with the person that cheated on me. Then book a call with me or drop me a message on Instagram. The link is in my show notes, and we can navigate this together to get you to a place where you're free from this pain. You're also more open to relationships again, because the last thing you want, and it happens all the time, when you've been betrayed, you then are very cold to new relationships or distrusting because you've been betrayed. Okay? You don't want to project what you've been through on somebody else and never have a healthy relationship again because you're so avoidant towards them because you've been hurt. You need to process this in the right way, and you need to be a lot more open to relationships again, and maybe navigate where your relationship went wrong, or was there any red flags that you ignored in order to get through this.